Company research shouldn't feel like a chore, but usually it looks like this: a mountain of PDFs, dense legal jargons, hours of scrolling just to find one clear answer. It's overwhelming, it's inefficient, and it's exactly why most investors stay on the surface. Today, we are fixing that. We are moving past the massive tab scrolling and getting straight to the insights that actually matter. Before I dive into the video, hi, I'm CY. I share more on finance and productivity. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to my channel. Now, let's dive in. For a very long time, I felt the same way when it comes to company and stock research. And that's why I started experimenting with a tool called NotebookLM. So, what is NotebookLM really? The easiest way to think about it is this. It's like having a junior analyst who has already read all your materials. NotebookLM is a Google AI research tool that works only on the sources you gave it. Things like annual reports, earning transcripts, slide decks, articles, and even your own notes. What matters is this: it doesn't pull random info from the internet. When you ask a question, it answers based on your documents and it shows you exactly where the answer came from. That alone makes it very different from how most people use AI for investing. And just to be clear, I still use ChatGPT and Gemini all the time. They are great when you're starting from zero or when you're trying to understand a general concept. But once you actually have real materials, filing, transcript decks, that's where NotebookLM feels different. Instead of searching the web, it lives inside your research folder and keeps working off the same set of documents over and over again. That's why it fits company research so well. Now, the core problem with company research isn't lack of information, it's the opposite. That's too much information. Important details are buried inside 100 or 200-page documents. One comments on pricing might be on page 87, a risk factor you care about might show up once 3 quarters ago. And connecting the dots across documents, management guidance, segment data, market context takes a lot of manual effort. So, people default to headlines, gut feel, or someone else's thesis. NotebookLM doesn't try to replace your thinking, but it does help remove a lot of the frictions. Let's look at the features of NotebookLM. At the center of NotebookLM is a chat interface. You can ask things like, explain this company business model in simple terms, summarize what management said about pricing and margins, list the risks mentioned across the reports, and every answer comes with a citations back to the original documents that is auditable. On top of that, there are a few built-in tools I find generally useful when it comes to NotebookLM. For instance, there's mind maps to visualize how the business fits all together in a structured view to help you connect better. Audio overview that turns dense report into something you can listen on the go, be it on the car or when you commute. Video overview is a new feature that gives you a rough visual summary. Infographics breaks processes of timelines into diagrams for those who like graphics. And many other features. I will go into that in detail in the next section. The reality is that I don't use all of this every time, but depending on where I'm stuck, one of them are usually helpful. Let me show you how this actually works using Root as an example. Root is an auto insurer disrupting the industry by using telematics to price your policy based on how you actually drive rather than your actual age or credit score. Now, the first step is to gather the usual stuff: annual report, quarterly report, websites, shareholders letter, investor presentations, industry articles, and including the website itself. The next step is to create a notebook called something like Root Insurance Company and proceed to uploading all the documents. Once that's done, this becomes the workspace for everything relating to the company you are researching on, and you don't have to read line by line on documents that you have downloaded. You can literally start asking questions in the chat-like feature here. Things like, how does Root differs from traditional auto insurers? What has management said about underwriting, discipline, and pricing? And things like, explain Root business model to me like I'm new to insurance. NotebookLM answers using the documents, and you can click into the source if you want more context on where it's located. Now, there's another feature on NotebookLM apart from the chat function called Studio, of which there are multiple features here. things like audio overview, video overview, mind maps, reports, flashcards, quiz, infographics, and slide deck. Let's start with mind map. Mind map helps you to see the main themes on how things connect to each other. It breaks down things in a very clear view for those who need help in terms of orientations. For instance, financial and strategic lever. And all this can be further expanded down to a level of detail. And if you want to learn more about it, just click on it and it will give you an overview on what it means with the sources reference as well. The next is audio overview and video overview. Think of this like a podcast where the host who knows the in and out of the company conversing between each other, and you as a listener just learn about what they are talking about based on the data that you uploaded. This is extremely powerful for those who have limitation of time, and you can literally hear this during your commute or when you're driving your car as well. The next one is infographics, which I find interesting but not extremely helpful. This is powerful for those who like visual. Instead of looking through the data, it does give you a very high level overview on how you should think about the company itself. Reports is a new feature that is recently added as well. You can craft your own reports, briefing docs, study guides, and blog posts. Slide decks is also interesting. I tried this feature and I'll show you how it looks like here. By using all the data that you have uploaded, you turn it into a very comprehensive slide deck, of which instead of referring to each of these documents that you uploaded, it now creates a very concise and succinct deck which you can just run through to understand more about the company. Last but not least is quiz and flashcards, which is more powerful for those who are studying for an exams, but it's a good features to really stress test your knowledge once you understand more about the company. At this point, you actually feel more oriented rather than overwhelmed based on the traditional way of doing company research. And the cool part is that you can progressively add more data as you have more data source. Now, why is this powerful? The biggest benefit here isn't just speed. It's a shift on where your attention goes. NotebookLM handles finding disclosures, extracting repeated mentions, organizing teams, reconciling statements across documents. So, your mental energy goes into asking sharper questions, stress testing modes, comparing business model, and forming your own conviction. That's where real investment insights and real content value comes from. You still have to think for sure, but you are thinking about the right things. And because everything is source linked, you can always verify and sense check the conclusions. So the next time, if you're planning on company research, NotebookLM is a powerful tool to help drive clarity. If you find this useful, subscribe to my channel for more content on finance and productivity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.